Have you ever wondered what would happen if, just for one day, you decided to become the person you were always meant to be? Not tomorrow, not next week, but today, this morning, right now. Most people wake up and instantly drown in noise. The notifications, the rush, the endless to-do lists. They move through the day like sleepwalkers driven by habit, not by purpose. But somewhere deep inside, there's a quiet voice that whispers, you were made for more. You felt it before. That deep pull in your chest, that knowing that life isn't supposed to be just surviving. It's supposed to be becoming. Every morning gives you a new chance to begin again. No matter what happened yesterday, today is a blank page. Your past doesn't decide who you are. Your actions this morning do. You can rise with power, or you can repeat old patterns. You can feed your fear, or you can feed your focus. The difference between an ordinary day and an extraordinary one begins in the first few minutes after you open your eyes. How you speak to yourself in the morning becomes the language of your life. So, ask yourself, what kind of life do you want to live? A life built on reaction, or a life built on intention? If you wake up telling yourself you're tired, your mind will obey. But if you wake up telling yourself you are powerful, capable, and ready, your entire being starts to move differently. Energy follows direction. The mind shapes reality. When you take control of your inner dialogue, you take control of your destiny. It's not about pretending life is perfect. It's about meeting the day with courage. The kind of courage that whispers, I will try again, even when it hurts, even when no one notices. Because every small act of self-discipline compounds into something massive over time. Science calls it neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself. Every time you choose focus over distraction, strength over comfort, discipline over doubt, you are literally reshaping your mind for success. You're not just getting stronger, you're becoming unstoppable. You see, motivation isn't about waiting for the right feeling. It's about moving before you feel ready. Momentum creates motivation, not the other way around. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to start to take the first breath, the first step, the first decision that says, I'm in control of my life now. Because the truth is, no one's coming to save you. The world doesn't hand power to those who wait. It gives it to those who rise. If you keep listening, you'll understand something most people never learn. The morning isn't just a time of day. It's a ritual. It's your sacred opportunity to realign your mind, reset your energy, and remember who you are. By the end of this message, you'll know how to transform your mornings into the foundation of a life filled with purpose, strength, and peace. So stay here, stay present, because what you choose to do in these next few minutes could change the entire direction of your life. This is your moment to wake up, not just from sleep, but from everything that's been holding you back. You are stronger than you think. The problem is not your potential, it's your belief. Every person alive carries an inner dialogue, a voice that either builds or destroys. That voice has shaped your life far more than circumstances ever have. If that voice says you can't, then every opportunity becomes invisible. If it says you will, then every obstacle becomes a doorway. The mind is powerful beyond imagination. It creates limits, and it can also destroy them. Most people spend their lives running from doubt, but real power begins when you stop running and face it. When you look at fear straight in the eye and say, you don't control me anymore. The truth is, fear never disappears. It disguises itself as logic, as comfort, as safety. It tells you to wait for the right time, for the right feeling, for someone's approval. But those are illusions. The right time doesn't exist. The perfect moment never arrives. You build confidence by acting while afraid, not by waiting for fear to leave. Courage is born in motion, not in silence. Every time you step forward, despite the shaking, something incredible happens. Your fear begins to lose its power. Your brain rewires itself to associate discomfort with growth. You start craving challenge because you finally understand pain is proof of progress. Science shows that the brain can't distinguish between physical and emotional resistance. That means when you push through a workout, when you wake up early, when you focus for one more hour, your brain records those wins the same way. It learns endurance. It learns resilience. You are teaching your mind to rise under pressure, to stand tall when life tries to break you. That is how warriors are built, not by luck, but by repetition. Every morning, every breath, every decision becomes a training ground. The life you want is not built on grand moments. It's built on quiet consistency. The unseen hours when no one is watching. The discipline to show up when your feelings tell you not to. That's where transformation happens, in the silence of effort. When you choose growth over ease, when you choose purpose over distraction, something inside you shifts. You stop chasing motivation and start living with intention. You stop hoping for strength and begin embodying it. Remember this. Every person you admire has fought silent battles you'll never see. They didn't wake up confident. They built confidence one choice at a time. They failed, they doubted, they fell, but they never stopped. And neither can you. The world rewards the ones who keep moving, even when they don't feel ready. Because readiness is not a state, it's a decision. You were not born to blend in. You were not meant to spend your life apologizing for your dreams. You are here to evolve, to push the boundaries of what's possible for you. Every breath you take is another chance to start again. Right now, in this moment, you can decide to rewrite your story. Let go of the guilt, the hesitation, the noise. Step into your strength. Stand in your power. The version of you that you've always wanted to become is already waiting inside. All you have to do is rise to meet it. Every morning is a mirror, reflecting who you choose to be, not who the world told you to be, not who your past shaped you to become, but who you decide to embody now. When you open your eyes, you face a question that no one can answer for you. Will you lead your mind, or will your mind lead you? Because your life moves in the direction of your strongest thoughts. What you focus on expands. If you wake up thinking about limitations, your day will be filled with walls. But if you wake up thinking about possibility, your day will open into space. The difference is invisible at first, but over time it shapes everything. There's a deep truth most people overlook. Your mornings are sacred. They are the purest version of your power. The mind is quiet, unshaped, waiting for instruction. In that stillness, your thoughts have extraordinary influence. You can plant seeds of strength or seeds of doubt. Every word you say to yourself in those early minutes becomes a command to your subconscious. And your subconscious never argues. It obeys. Tell it you're tired, and you'll move through the day heavy and slow. Tell it you're ready, and energy will rise to match your belief. This is not magic, it's neuroscience. You train your brain through repetition, through the language you use, through the energy you embody. So when the alarm rings, don't just wake your body, wake your spirit. Sit for a moment in silence. Breathe deeply. Feel your heart beating. Remember that you are alive, that you are capable, that you have one more chance to give this day everything you've got. Gratitude unlocks power. When you start your morning with thankfulness for breath, for time, for another opportunity, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, the chemistry of purpose and strength. You begin the day aligned with clarity, not chaos. The world will try to rush you. It will flood your attention with noise, opinions, distractions. But you must learn to protect your morning like it's sacred ground, because it is. This is the time to align with who you want to be, not who the world expects you to be. Discipline begins here. Peace begins here. The mind you build in the morning becomes the armor you wear throughout the day. Every great life is built from powerful mornings. Not perfect ones, but intentional ones. It's the decision to rise when you could stay in bed, to move your body when comfort whispers, not today, to focus your mind when the world screams for your attention. Each morning, you are writing a small chapter of your legacy. And when those chapters add up, they tell the story of your life, whether it was lived by choice or by chance. You have no control over how long you live, but you have complete control over how awake you are while you live it. Every sunrise is a reminder that you have another chance to become. Don't waste it. Don't drift. Don't let your mornings be stolen by distraction or fear. Begin them with intention, with gratitude, with strength. Because when you win the morning, you win the day. And when you win enough days, you win your life. ChatGPT said, Ibro, the moment you rise and take that first breath of the day, you are standing at the edge of two worlds, the one you've already lived and the one you're about to create. Every action, every thought, every choice you make from that moment is either a repetition of the past or a declaration of something new. The difference between repeating old patterns and breaking through them begins with awareness. Most people drift through their days unconscious, reacting instead of creating, repeating yesterday's emotions instead of designing today's mindset. But not you. You're here because something inside you wants more. More clarity, more peace, more mastery over your own life. That desire is not weakness. It's the signal that transformation has already begun. True change doesn't start when life becomes easy. It starts when you stop running from what's hard. Growth demands friction. The human mind evolves under pressure, not comfort. Think about it. The strongest muscles are built by resistance. The same law applies to your character. When challenges appear, they are not punishments. They are invitations. Each obstacle you face is shaping the strength you'll need for the future you're building. You can either see it as pain or as preparation. You can curse the weight or you can learn to lift it. Psychologists have proven that how you interpret difficulty changes how your body responds to it. When you see a challenge as a threat, your body shuts down, your energy drains, your vision narrows. But when you see it as a test, as a chance to grow, everything changes. Your brain releases energy, focus sharpens, determination rises. You move differently because your mind is leading with purpose instead of fear. This is how warriors think. This is how masters are made. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control the meaning you give it. The mind always looks for a story, so give it one that serves you. Don't say, why is this happening to me? Say, this is happening for me. Each setback, each delay, each painful moment is refining you. It's burning away weakness. It's teaching you patience, strength, humility. Life is not testing your worth, it's preparing your power. There will be days when you feel like quitting, when the weight feels too heavy, when your progress feels invisible. But that's exactly when transformation is happening. Growth hides inside struggle. The moment you want to give up is the moment your old self is fighting to stay alive. Breathe through it. Push through it. Every time you choose perseverance over surrender, you're proving to yourself that your spirit is stronger than your circumstances. That's not just motivation, that's evolution. You are not your failures, you are not your mistakes. You are the lessons you've learned and the strength you've built from them. Every challenge has carved a deeper version of you, wiser, sharper, more alive. So when the day tests you, don't shrink, stand taller. When life feels heavy, remember, pressure is a privilege. It means you're still in the fight. It means you're still growing. And as long as you keep showing up, you cannot lose, because every step forward, no matter how small, is proof that you are still rising. There comes a point when you realize that strength is not built in moments of victory, but in the quiet hours when no one is watching. It's in the silence, after failure, when you're alone with your thoughts, and the only voice left to guide you is your own. That's where transformation begins. Not in noise, not in applause, but in the stillness where you decide who you will be when the world isn't looking. Because true discipline doesn't depend on motivation. It's born from commitment. It's the choice to keep moving when every part of you wants to stop. When you understand this, life starts to shift. You stop chasing easy and you start chasing growth. You begin to respect the process, not just the result. Every great achievement is built on invisible moments. Early mornings, late nights, quiet sacrifices. The world may not see your effort, but your soul does. And every small act of effort strengthens your identity as someone who follows through. That's how confidence is built, not by luck, not by external validation, but by honoring your own word. Every time you do what you said you would do, you build trust with yourself. That trust becomes power. The mind thrives on consistency. When you act with discipline, your brain releases chemicals that reward commitment. Dopamine for progress, serotonin for alignment. You begin to associate effort with satisfaction, struggle with meaning. Over time, you stop fearing difficulty and start craving it because you've learned that the harder the climb, the greater the clarity at the top. This is the essence of self-mastery. Learning to lead yourself when no one else will. There will be days when motivation disappears, when energy fades, when nothing seems to move. That's when most people give up. But that's also when your real training begins. The moment when you feel like quitting is the moment your mind is begging to be led. Step into that space. Lead it. Tell yourself, I don't need to feel ready. I just need to begin. Because once you begin, momentum takes over. Action creates energy, not the other way around. Discipline is freedom disguised as effort. It's the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. When you live with discipline, you stop being a prisoner of emotion. You stop waiting for the perfect day, the perfect feeling, the perfect plan. You learn to move anyway, tired, scared, uncertain. Because you understand that progress doesn't demand perfection, it only demands persistence. Each step forward, no matter how small, is an act of courage. Every time you push through resistance, you're telling your mind a new story. A story of strength, of resilience, of control. You are rewiring yourself to believe in your own power. And that power becomes a quiet confidence, a steady calm that carries you through chaos. You begin to see that discipline isn't punishment. It's a gift. It's the ultimate form of self-respect. So when the morning comes and the world feels heavy, remember this. You don't need to be perfect to begin. You just need to show up again and again until showing up becomes who you are. Because one day you'll look back and realize that the person you've become, focused, resilient, unshakable, was built not by motivation, but by the small, consistent choices you made when no one else was watching. There's a peace that comes when you finally stop chasing and start becoming. When you stop trying to force everything to happen on your timeline and instead learn to trust the process you've committed to. Real mastery is not about speed, it's about direction. It's not about how fast you move, but how deliberately you move. Every step you take in alignment with your values strengthens your foundation. Every moment you choose patience over panic builds endurance. And every breath you take with awareness turns chaos into clarity. You see, control is an illusion. The only thing you ever truly control is your focus and your response. Life will test you, not to break you, but to reveal what still needs to grow within you. Resistance doesn't mean you're off track. It means you're building power. The universe doesn't hand strength to those who wish for it. It gives it to those willing to earn it. And the way you earn it is by staying centered when everything around you shakes. The storm doesn't destroy you. It sharpens you. It strips away what was never essential. It leaves you with truth, raw, simple, unshakable truth. When you learn to see struggle through that lens, you stop asking, Why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? That single shift changes everything. It transforms suffering into learning, frustration into patience, doubt into depth. You begin to see that every challenge carries a lesson, every delay hides a gift, and every failure refines your focus. Growth rarely looks glamorous while it's happening. It looks like discipline, discomfort, and detachment from what once defined you. But beneath that discomfort, something sacred is forming. Wisdom. The mind quiets when you accept what you cannot control and focus on what you can, your effort, your intention, your energy. That's where real peace is found, not in the absence of problems, but in the presence of perspective. The same mind that once created chaos can become your greatest ally when you train it to see clearly. And clarity is power. When you act with clarity, every movement becomes meaningful. You stop wasting energy on noise and start investing it in what truly matters. This is the essence of inner mastery, calm strength, the kind that doesn't need to prove itself, the kind that moves with certainty even in uncertainty. When your mind is steady, the world no longer dictates your emotions. You can walk through fire and still feel grounded because your peace doesn't depend on what's happening around you. It comes from within. And this is what every morning is training you for. Not just discipline, but awareness. The awareness to pause before reacting, to breathe before speaking, to choose alignment over impulse. Each time you do, you reclaim your power. You realize that peace isn't passive, it's a skill. It's something you build through repetition, through mindfulness, through choosing to be present, no matter how loud the world becomes. So when the noise rises, when distractions pull at your attention, come back to your breath. Come back to that still point inside you that cannot be moved. Because when you find peace within yourself, no external chaos can take it away. That's where true freedom begins. Not when life becomes easier, but when you become stronger than anything life can throw at you. When you begin to live with awareness, you start to understand that every thought is a seed, and every seed you plant in your mind will one day grow into the reality you live in. The mind doesn't differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. It simply obeys what you feed it. If you feed it fear, it will build walls. If you feed it faith, it will build doors. The life you're living right now is a reflection of the thoughts you repeated yesterday. So, if you want tomorrow to look different, you must start by mastering the words you whisper to yourself today. The most powerful transformation doesn't happen when you change your environment. It happens when you change your internal dialogue. You begin to speak to yourself like someone you believe in. You stop criticizing your reflection and start encouraging your potential. Every time you choose self-belief over self-doubt, your brain releases chemicals that reinforce that new identity. Confidence is not arrogance, it's self-trust built over time. It's the quiet, knowing that no matter what happens, you can handle it. And that knowing makes you magnetic to opportunity, to growth, to peace. But to think clearly, you must first remove the noise. The world will try to convince you that your worth depends on achievement, comparison, or perfection. It will pull you into endless distraction, into measuring your progress by someone else's timeline. But peace is found when you realize you are not in competition with anyone. You are only in competition with your own potential. The only race worth running is the one that brings you closer to your purpose. And purpose is not something you find outside yourself, it's something you remember within yourself. Purpose is the alignment of your actions with your truth. It's the feeling that what you do and who you are no longer at war. When you live from that space, you stop chasing validation and start living from intention. You move through life with calm determination. You stop needing to prove and start choosing to serve. This is where fulfillment begins. Not in having more, but in becoming more. Psychology calls it self-concordance. When your goals match your deeper values, your motivation becomes limitless. You no longer rely on willpower, you move from flow. You act not because you must, but because it feels right. Each morning becomes an act of alignment, a moment to ask, what kind of energy do I want to give the world today? That question shifts everything. It takes you from being reactive to being intentional, from drifting to directing, from surviving to living. And as you live with intention, life begins to respond differently. You attract people, opportunities, and experiences that mirror your new state of being. What once felt like resistance becomes rhythm. What once felt like chaos becomes clarity. You start to notice that success isn't about chasing, it's about becoming a match for what you seek. You don't force outcomes, you grow into them. So speak with purpose, think with power, move with presence. Every moment, every thought, every word is shaping the person you are becoming. The question is no longer, can you do it? The real question is, will you allow yourself to become the person who already can? Because once you do, the world will mirror that truth back to you, not through chance, but through the reflection of your own awakened mind. When you begin to see your mind as your greatest ally, you start to understand that mastery is not about controlling every thought. It's about choosing which thoughts deserve your energy. The average person thinks tens of thousands of thoughts a day, and most of them are recycled from yesterday. They replay old fears, old stories, old identities. But you are not your past. You are the awareness that sees those thoughts. The more you observe them without judgment, the more power you reclaim. That's the first step toward true freedom, realizing that you are not what you think, you are what you choose to believe. Each time you decide to rise above a limiting belief, you're not just changing your mind, you're reshaping your entire reality. The neurons in your brain begin to form new connections, strengthening patterns of resilience and courage. That's neuroplasticity in motion. The biological proof that transformation is not only possible, it's inevitable when you stay consistent. Every moment you replace doubt with discipline, hesitation with action, fear with focus, you're literally rewiring yourself into the version of you that you've always imagined. But awareness alone isn't enough. You must act on it. Thought without movement is just potential waiting to die. The universe doesn't respond to what you want, it responds to what you do. Action is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. Every small choice, every morning routine, every focused breath, every act of gratitude is a signal that tells life you're ready. You don't need to see the whole path. You just need to move one step forward in faith. That's how momentum is born. Not through perfection, but through persistence. And the truth is, you already know what to do. Deep down, the answers are within you. The problem isn't knowledge, it's alignment. The mind knows, but the body resists. The heart feels, but the ego fears. That's why discipline matters. It unites them. It brings thought, feeling, and action into harmony. When you act from alignment, you no longer move from pressure. You move from power. You stop trying to prove something, and you start expressing who you really are. That's not motivation, that's embodiment. This is where transformation becomes natural. You no longer fight yourself, you work with yourself. You begin to see obstacles not as punishments, but as guidance. Every challenge is feedback. Every delay is redirection. Every struggle is refining your strength. The universe isn't testing your patience, it's teaching your persistence. Every time you choose to show up, even when it hurts, you expand your capacity to receive more, handle more, become more. And slowly, everything shifts. The mind becomes quieter. The body becomes stronger. The heart becomes lighter. You start to notice that peace isn't at the end of the path. It's found in how you walk it. Success stops feeling like something you chase and starts feeling like something you carry. You become rooted, calm, unshakable. You begin to trust yourself, trust life, Trust the timing of your own growth. That's when you realize the ultimate truth. The purpose of life was never to avoid the storm, but to learn how to stand tall in the rain. Every breath, every struggle, every sunrise was preparing you for this understanding. You were never meant to simply survive. You were meant to awaken. To remember that the power you've been searching for has been inside you all along, waiting for you to believe it, to live it, and to rise with it.